right, welcome to Sellers. Your agent wished you would stop doing this. I'm gonna go over 21 things that your listing agent wished you would stop doing. All right, are you ready? Let's make it happen. Number one, don't believe the Zestimate, the Zillow estimate over a CMA, comparative market analysis your professional real estate agent will do. Zestimates are a fantastic reference point. I myself, when I get a lead for a listing, I check the address out on Zillow. It's actually getting better. The algorithms are getting better as time goes along. So they're a good reference point, but if it says $287,000 and your house is only worth $250,000, you can't say, well, the Zillow estimate says, because the Zestimate, they don't go in your house. Your realtor will actually go in your house to do a walkthrough and then go back to the MLS and pull sold comparables. The Zillow is just working on algorithms, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1 partial, 1 car garage, 2,200 square feet in this town. Again, great reference point, but definitely not a end all be all. So that's number one. Do not swear by the Zillow's estimate. Number two, mistake you're gonna make. Be present for showings. Do not think you're gonna be able to sell your house or you're gonna be able to sell that $20,000 master closet you put in instead of losing money if you're there to walk the buyer through and sell them on your house. Now, there's an asterisk here. If you are a builder or developer, which I represent in Pittsburgh, it's a good idea for you to be there because you may get asked questions like, what type of insulation are you here? Are you insulating between these walls? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? But that's different because that's referencing building. If you are a seller of a primary residence, do not be there. And I'm gonna tell you now, you're gonna make the buyers uncomfortable, and your intention is to do good, to facilitate an offer, to get a sale, but all of those intentions are going to be the opposite of what you actually accomplish if you are there during the showing. Now, again, another asterisk, let's just say you're handicapped or you have a litter of children or whatever, and you just, there's 60 showings, you can't leave for all of them, different story. But if you can leave, do yourself a favor, leave. Okay, the third thing your agent, and let me tell you, when I say your agent wishes you wouldn't do it, it's because it's a mistake and it's hurting you on selling the property. The third thing is trying to put on showing restrictions. Must give 48-hour notice. I mean, we are in a post-COVID environment with interest rates in the 2% range. It's a seller's market. It's so high. You don't put your house on the market if you're gonna tell buyers, I gotta give you 48 hours notice. You can't come between this time and that time. I have represented sellers recently where they had small children and nap time was between 2 and 4. Okay, I get it, I give you that. But for the most part, do everything in your power not to limit the times when buyers can come through. Another thing I recommend is, and some agents may be against this, but I'm not, let all buyers and buyers agents showings overlap. Trying to stagger them out is a nightmare for the buyer, it's a nightmare for the buyer's agent, and it provides urgency. Just like an open house, if you had 10 buyers there all at the same time, they're like, wow, this is a hot property. So if you have buyers there at the same time looking at the property, it's gonna create urgency. It's gonna be a little uncomfortable for them, but let me tell you, you're just worried about yourself as a seller. They'll get over it. And you may actually miss out on some showings if you put the house on the market and first day, all 10 hours are booked up because you don't wanna allow overlapping appointments, all right? So don't limit the showing ability. Okay, so that was the first 3. Did you hit the subscribe button? This is good info, huh? You're gonna like it. You may not agree with it, you may not like it, you may not wanna do it, but hit the subscribe button anyway, because it's good info. Tap the bell over here and hit all notifications, because I'm gonna be dropping all kind of good knowledge that's gonna help you sell your listing. Okay, number 4, the 4th thing your agent wished you wouldn't do and is recommended not to do is don't cook stinky food when you know you have showings. Do your best, go out, eat a salad, order pizza, but don't cook greasy French fries or anything else that's gonna leave some sort of residual smell, because anytime you prep a house to sell, and I've done videos on this before, is you wanna please the buyer's senses: sight, sound, and smell. So if you are doing something to displease that would be cooking stinky food before showings, believe it or not, there's a chance that that's going to turn them off on the sale of your home. Thus, going against what your plan is. Your plan of attack is to facilitate offers that will non-facilitate. All right, and number 5 is along the same lines, and we see this all the time. Listen, one air freshener is good. If you have too many air fresheners, it has an opposite effect. It starts stinking up the house, and it also makes buyers think, what are they trying to hide? Now, I used to represent buyers when they would buy foreclosures, and these foreclosure agents would do it all the time. The house would already smell, then you stick an air freshener, an overpowering air freshener in there, so now I have 2 stinky smells. So don't cook anything before you have a showing. Try to avoid it at all possible, and don't try to cover that up with a whole bunch of air fresheners, like 4 on every floor, 1 in every bedroom. Don't do it. Counterproductive. Okay, number 6 is absolutely, positively, do not contact the buyers or the buyer's agents directly. You hire a listing agent to be your buffer, and just think, you may think you're doing some good. You may think you want to tell them one thing and you want to bother your agent, but now they have your contact info and they're going to blow you up. And there's nothing worse than during inspection period, having the buyers have your contact info and constantly blowing you up. It's a nightmare. The reason why, as a seller, you pay both sides of the commission is to have a buffer, the buyer's agent and the listing agent. So you're not doing yourself any good unless you hired a completely crap listing agent if you go around your listing agent. Can't tell you how many times this has somehow happened to me, and then they communicate and then they try to bring me in on the back end. I'm like, well, wait a minute, I didn't know any of this stuff was going on, and you made a wrong decision, seller. So my sellers are making the incorrect decision, and it's too late because they already agreed with that with the buyers, and then they bring me in. Can't do it. Do not communicate with the buyers and the buyer's agent. Matter of fact, the buyer's agent, if you try contacting them, should say, and I've done this before, is that I can't talk to you. You have to go through your agent. That's why you pay your agent that big money. Oh God, number 7 is a good one. Don't sign the listing contract and then move all your furniture out unless you pre-discuss this with your listing agent. Like, don't surprise them. They think they're gonna have showings and there's this furnished house, and they get in there and it's like boxes, empty. You don't want to do that. Another thing you don't want to do, and again, unless you pre-arranged it with your listing agent, don't surprise them on moving stuff out or boxing stuff and lay around for showings. Another thing is, I recently had this happen. It was kind of unforeseen. We accepted an offer. They weren't taking, I forget what it is, the fridge or something like that. So my seller didn't want it. So before closing, pretty early on in the process, pretty proactive person, and I'm not faulting this person, they went out and sold a bunch of stuff, appliances, whatever, that weren't conveying with the sale. So it was okay to do that, but you wanted to do that. I didn't know they were going to sell it. I would have told them not to, because what happened is the deal terminated. So we put it back on the market with like a lack of appliances, and then we got, buyers are going through like, why are there no appliances? And then we got an offer in, and he had to actually go out and buy new appliances to put in there to sell the house. So don't remove furniture without your agent knowing ahead of time. And even if you get it under contract, try not to start selling off a whole bunch of stuff, at least until you made it through the inspection process. Okay, number 8. We understand you want to sell your house. We understand you're eager for feedback, but don't contact us 5 minutes after the showing and ask us if you got any feedback from the other agent. And chances are, I represent buyers, a lot of buyers, and we're showing 8 houses in a row. So I always hate whenever I just left the listing and the listing agents, and I'm on my way to house number 6. That was house number 5, and they're already blowing me up for feedback. I mean, I'm still with the buyers. It could take me 12 to 24 hours to get you feedback. 8, 10, 12, 24 hours to get feedback. Depends how busy I am. So don't blow up your listing agent immediately asking for feedback. Most people nowadays use showing time to schedule showings, and will send out a request for feedback automatically. So you've just got to be patient and wait for feedback. If you don't hear anything from your agent until the next day, maybe reach out to your agent and ask, but don't blow them up immediately. Same with inspections. Let's just say you had the inspections already. I mean, as soon as the inspector leaves, they have to generate the report and everything else. Same with the appraiser. Don't automatically start blowing up your listing agent immediately asking for the answers. Chances are, once that information comes into our head, we're gonna get it right out to you. Very rarely do we get it in and just like sit on it and like, ha ha ha, I bet you the buyers wanna know what the inspection was or what the feedback was. No, we're gonna give it to you right away, so don't blow us up immediately. Okay, number 9, we're gonna start getting into pricing. So if it's not selling, you have to adjust the price. Let's just say your realtor was horrible, whatever, took horrible photos. Even if you take new photos, no one's gonna know. The only way, the National Association of Realtors has done studies, and they've determined that if your house hasn't sold in the first 2 weeks, it's probably overpriced. If it hasn't sold in 30 days, every 30 days, you need to adjust the price. Yes, that is code for price reduction. You need to reduce the price because if you do a new photos, it doesn't come back up to the top. The algorithms don't care. If you put in new verbiage, maybe you're offering a $1,500 credit for bad carpet, it's not gonna populate back to the top. So if your house is not selling, you just can't go month after month after month after month and no price reductions, no price adjustments. If your agent isn't coming to you asking for one, go to them and say, hey, I want to adjust the price. You know, it depends what market you're in. The price is relative. But around here, we do $5,000 price adjustments, unless we really blew it. Or if it's a luxury, then we'll do bigger chunks. But for the average sale price around here, we would do $5,000 price adjustments. And what that also does is that tells buyers that you're willing to negotiate. You know, you may have missed, you may have wanted to try our price, you missed it, but you're willing to negotiate. I've had many times where I represented buyers and we saw a property that was on the market for 180 days with no price adjustments. My buyer didn't even want to go see it. They're like, huh, they don't want to negotiate. We don't even want to go see it. And I said, well, let's go in because we can lowball the heck out of them. I mean, if they've been on the market for 4 months, they should have been doing $5,000 price adjustment. That's $20,000 off right there. We know they can't sell it. We'll go another $20,000 under that. So if you don't do price adjustments, you're looking to get, you're open, you're susceptible to lowball offers. And it may seem like it's a lowball offer to you, but it's really market value. So number 9 is do not just sit there on the market and wait for that one buyer. It only takes one buyer. And we're gonna wait for that one buyer. Well, it's not gonna happen. You know, you see a product out there that can't sell at X price. You want that product, you come in 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, a year later, you're not gonna come in like, huh, I see you can't sell it. Let me just give you full price. No, you're gonna get lower. All right, number 10 is not answering your agent's attempts to communicate with you. Whether that's email, text, phone, all 3, direct message on some sort of social media platform, home phone, showing up at your door. If we're reaching out to you, we probably have something valuable and it's probably time is of the essence. So get back to your agent right away, please. So number 11 is going to be, had a home inspection, you know, stuff came up, I'm not fixing anything. I don't even want to give it credit. Well, let me let you in on a couple of secrets. First is you now have to disclose those items, assuming they are in conjunction with your seller's disclosures. What I mean is if it's an interior door that has a hole kicked in it, well, you don't have to disclose that, but you know, now you know the shingles are old, there's a roof leak, a foundation's wet. You have to disclose that stuff. So if you have a ready, willing, and able buyer on the hook, it's my hook, on the hook, then you don't want to terminate with them and let them swim away. Put it back on the market active, disclose everything that's wrong with it, and the new buyer, and not fix it, and the new buyers are going to be like, huh, they don't want to fix that or give a credit. Why would we want to put an offer in? So you're only doing yourself a disservice if you have a home inspection or even a pre-inspection, and then you realize, or you decide you just, for whatever reason, I don't even know why you do this, not want to make changes and or give a credit to the current buyer you have on the hook. That's going to be your best buyer. Number 12, this is a good one. Expect a full price on an eccentric house. I've seen this before, in my market and out of my market. Let's just say you're building a $30 million house, you're a billionaire, and you're doing gold toilet paper and you know, platinum floors with these gaudy doorknobs or whatever. I mean, the further you go on the eccentric side, that is, you know, your style, and that's fine whenever you make these changes, whether you built it that way or whether you updated it and added these because you're rich. Or even if you're not rich and you just like this gaudy stuff, eccentric, unique stuff, buyers don't like it. it's highly unlikely you're going to find another buyer that's looking to buy a house on the market at the same time you're trying to sell this eclectic, eccentric type stuff. So if it's very personalized, you might want to put in a couple $1,000 to depersonalize or make it appeal a little bit more to the masses. Or you could be the winner of your own offer, which is you get to keep the house because nobody else wants it. All right, number 13 is pets. I have a dog. I've had cats before. I get it. But if you have a dog that's primarily a dog that's in a crate that's whining or barking, no matter how nice it is an absolute annoyance to everybody in that house. And believe it or not, I know what you're thinking. If you want to buy the house, you shouldn't worry about a dog. But if you're in there trying to talk to your agent, this dog, blah, 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 or even worse, you leave it out of the crate just because it's a nice dog and it comes up and rubs its white fur on my black pants, that's not copacetic. We really don't enjoy that, and neither do the buyer. So if you have pets, if you know they're barky, yippy dogs, you're gonna have to take them with you. I've had a lot of my sellers, they know whether the dog is barky or not. They just take them with them for the day or whatever it may be. Number 14 goes without saying, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Leave adult toys laying around. So that could be adult toys, that could be sexual protection. And also I'm gonna throw something else in there that's not along those lines, but is along those lines. Expensive jewelry, drugs, legal or illegal, prescription or not. You don't wanna leave any of that stuff around, and even put it in something that locks if it has value or if it's a drug. But especially those, late nights where you may have left something laying around on the counter. You just want to clean that stuff up. It goes without saying, but the only reason I'm putting it in this video is because I've seen it, and whenever I post it on Facebook asking in a closed group, my fellow realtors, a lot of them posted that was an issue. So yeah, and I don't know if I have this in there, but make sure you're not home. Make sure you don't have a family member that's home sleeping in the bed or whatever. I've had that happen. Number 15. My friend says it should sell for X. My family member says it should sell for Y. My family member who's a realtor in a completely different market says it should sell for Z. Well then, why hire an agent? Go ahead and, list it at that price on your own. Very rarely, actually never, are those prices that you get below market value. They just so happen to all be above market value. So if you're trying to convince your listing agent that that's the right number because everybody else said so, that's not going to happen. We have to do a market analysis. The reason why we do a market analysis is because when you get an offer in, it's probably mortgage backed. If it's mortgage backed, meaning a bank's involved, there's going to be an appraisal. An appraiser is not going to be like, oh, geez, cousin Ned said it's worth $400,000. Well, shit, yeah, it's definitely worth $400,000. No, they're not going to do that. So, it's okay if you get some advice from friends and family and all that, but, to be honest, just keep that to yourself. You really don't want to bias your listing agent anyway. Again, the whole reason I'm doing these videos, even though I named it, sellers, your agent wants you to stop doing these things, it's really more about you and hurting yourself when it comes to the goal of signing that listing contract, which is to sell the house. Number 16 is, kind of in line with 15, and that is, you've done your market research, you've searched Zillow and all that, and you've come up with a price, but you priced it on active comps. Now, when I do a market analysis, I will just peek at active comps, but I'm not going to form my opinion on price based on actives, because why? They will sell at potentially different prices, different terms. Even if they go under contract at price X, they could have a home inspection and do a reduction, or something may happen at the walkthrough at the closing table. They may have to adjust the price or whatever. Until it closes, that price is not etched in stone. So don't base it's great that you guys do pull comps and give us an idea on what you think it's worth, but don't base it on actives, please. Just look at solds. Okay, number 17, again, goes without saying, but if it never happened, I wouldn't put it in this video. Leave the house a mess. Don't leave the house a mess. Clean up. Do the best you can. I'm not saying this to insult you because you're a sloppy person. I know you may have 5 kids and 3 dogs, 2 cats, a parakeet, a fish, a cow, and a ferret. But you put your house on the market, you knew this stuff, you knew showings were coming, you got notice, you should have already had it cleaned up for photos, so you just gotta kind of keep it along that path. So let's just say 100% is super clean for the photos. If you can just keep it at a 90%, that's great. It doesn't have to be spick and span each time with the toilet paper folded like at a hotel and all the garbage emptied, but you gotta at least put the toilet seat down and pick up the dirty laundry and stick it in a closet or something like that. So, and if you have dogs, oh God, I just had this last 2 months ago. If you have dogs and you're leaving them outside, you're leaving them outside so they can take a shit. Just gonna be honest with you. You have to clean that shit up. Those buyers and buyer's agents are gonna walk through that backyard. And the last thing they wanna do, and I know it's a buyer's agent, man, I'm wearing nice shoes. I don't wanna step in dog shit, but you don't want them tracking that shit in your house. Because if I step in it, because you left it out there, I'm gonna walk through your house with it. It's not true, I wouldn't do that, but don't leave dog shit out there, please. It's so embarrassing to get feedback from buyer's agents that, you know, you're gonna have them clean up the dog poo. So we're still on 17, maybe we'll make the 17B, is when closing date comes, you are obligated to keep the house broom swept. You can't leave any of your junk or even not junk in the house for the next person. I mean, it doesn't even seem logical, it doesn't seem humane, it's not ethical, it's just not being nice. You don't leave anything behind that wasn't supposed to be left behind. Maybe you sold the couch to the buyers, that's cool. More than one time I've had this, and so have my fellow colleagues. You can't leave stuff. What'll happen is either it'll not close, or they can hold money of yours profit in a non-interest bearing account of the closing company until you get it removed, or sometimes the buyers have to pay. They won't let you back in the house. They'll just pay a company, take it out of the money they kept from you at closing, and pay that company because you either didn't want to, didn't feel like it, or didn't have enough time. Not having enough time is not an excuse. You have to have everything out. Check your local listing contract. I'm not sure how it is wherever you are watching this from though. So number 18 is, don't think you know more than your listing agent because you've sold 5 homes in your life. 10 homes, pick a number, I don't care. Unless your listing agent is freshly licensed and has not sold anything, in which case you probably shouldn't hire them. Let's just make this a rule. You shouldn't have sold more homes in your lifetime than your listing agent. How's that? So I sell about 70 homes a year, and at least once or twice a year I have sellers that think they know more than me because they've sold X amount of homes. And sometimes, I don't know if it's spiteful or not, but I'll just say, you want to list at that price because you've sold 5 homes, let's list at that price. So I'll list it at that price, do all my normal marketing, and I'll just sit there, and eventually I'll be like, maybe we should adjust the price down to mine because you think you know more because you've sold a couple houses. Doesn't matter. I don't care how many homes you sold. Shouldn't have sold more than the listing agent you contracted. And if you have, don't contract that agent. Contract that agent because they're the best around, best fit for you. And by God, by golly's sake, listen to them. Listen to what they say. Do what they say. Okay, so number 19, but hold on. Before we get to number 19, have you hit the subscribe button? If you're watching this on YouTube, hit the subscribe button, click the bell and get all notifications because I've got a lot of videos coming up in the future, all beneficial to you. Okay, so don't be mean or condescending or unprofessional to your agent. I know you hired us, you're paying us a lot of money. You're not paying us unless we sell the property. So from the time we take the listing contract to the time it closes, we haven't got paid anything. So just ask and be nice, be courteous. Even if you're frustrated with your personal life, your work day, your work life, kids, a medical issue, don't take it out on your realtor. We're trying to do nothing but actually get the house sold. Number 20, don't try to control your agent. And in the previous bullet points, I've already kind of mentioned this. If you have to control your agent, you didn't hire the right agent. So I've worked with high net worth individuals, professionals that are way more successful than me. And every once in a while, the good ones say, Brian, go ahead. I don't want to get involved. I've already got too much crap on my plate. You handle it. That's the good ones. There are those ones out there that are kind of control freaks, and they try to, I have a brother's cousin, I'm a lawyer, I've tried many cases, I'm a brain surgeon. You're gonna do it this way. That's not gonna happen. We're gonna do it my way. I'll listen to what you say and take it in and see if it's something revolutionary I haven't been exposed to with all my coaching, conferences, seminars, and all the other, high-end professional realtors I rub elbows with, see if you have something that's a magic bullet that nobody else, none of those other people have figured out yet, but it's unlikely. So don't try to control your realtor. Okay, I'm glad you waited to the end. This one is the most important, and that is overpricing. I've said it many times before. I've said this through my whole career. The best agent in the world cannot sell an overpriced listing. Can't do it. I mean, you're going to have an appraisal more than likely. Even if it's a cash deal, it could be an appraisal. Even if I use all the tools in the world, there have been some listings where I've used the same tools to sell all these other houses right away with multiple offers over full price. I've used the same tools on a house that was overpriced and couldn't sell it. And that's because it's overpriced. And conversely, the freshest agent out of the real estate school or the worst agent in the world can sell a properly priced property. So you're just doing yourself a disservice. I've already went over many times National Association of Realtors statistics and how long it should sit before you address a price adjustment, whatever. But you're just, you know, the old school days of let's throw it on the market. We could always reduce it and see what happens. Buyers are savvy to that anymore. And the market's so hot with interest rates so low, you have a better chance of multiple people fighting over it if you price it at market value or a little bit less and accepting over ask than if you start over ask and reduce. Because when you start here and reduce, or you start here and below market value, what happens is I will accept offers over ask if I start low or at market value. And conversely, if I start too high, the price just goes down. Every day it sits on the market, the property is worth less. For again, I already said it. You're not gonna have a buyer come in and see you can't sell your house. It's been on the market for months. Let me just give you full price or even something close to it. It doesn't work like that. So the number one tip I'm gonna give you, even though it's number 21 on my list, is do not overprice, okay? Comment below if you are watching this on social media and YouTube. If you got it via email, send me a reply back and let me know one of your things that you shouldn't be doing or your agent does not want you to do.